Um, Amazing, and thank you, and wonderful job, James and Vivian. And I would just say minor addition. I'd say 2+1. Meeting with Caitlin and Vitória, Bina has been amazing, and so I'm looking forward to this. And it's great to see you both again. How are you all doing?
Doing great, Stephen. Great to see you.
Great. Thank you, Stephen.
Great. And I'm going to call myself out because maybe everybody's already doing it. I was trying to get my background flipped 50-50 or flipped 180. So looks like Bina and Caitlin are getting a gold star today, not me. Yet I do think today's going to be really special, just looking at what Bina has been doing and in a new role. And then Caitlin, if you wouldn't mind leveraging now a little over 5 years there, would you mind sharing really what are you focusing on right now and really next?
Yeah, absolutely. So I can jump in. So I'm the global director for Mike's and Brutal Fruit in our Beyond Co team at AB InBev. So we call it Beyond because it's beyond beer as a beer company. My group really focuses on the products that are not beer and alcoholic still. So I've been leading the global expansion for Mike's Hard Lemonade over the last 3.5 years, and now doing the same for a brand from South Africa called Brutal Fruit.
Yeah, incredible. I loved how whenever I shared my experience of recently trying a Mike's Hard Lemonade and just being drawn back to a child actually selling lemonade to make money to buy toys, and hearing that's what you all are trying to capture.
Yeah, absolutely. So the part of the inspiration behind it is flavors that everyone's familiar with. And of course, you still have that bit of nostalgia as an adult, those familiar flavors that maybe you just want to kick up a bit with some alcohol.
Yes, and Bina, it's incredible. Again, I'm thinking that you're down in Brazil and we're all able to come together and just recently having a new transition into the role. Would you mind sharing a little bit about what you were doing and then now where you're heading?
Sure. Hello, nice to meet everyone. So I'm Bina. I used to be head of connections for the non-alc at AB InBev. So my role was to help brands towards digital transformation and overall, so everything around data, media, creative, Web3, metaverse, all these new stuffs. So helping our brands on how better engage with our consumers. So that's why we're here to talk about consumer engagement. And now I'm transitioned to a new role on the D2C. So my role is a little bit different. So helping brands looking for our own D2C channels, so how they can connect better with our channels, how they can create a better journey for our consumers. So that's my new role. Now I'm in the middle of transition, but today I'm here as connections.
Incredible. And hearing what you're both have been doing and then where you're heading, I love it. And especially as when we were connecting, thinking about making brands really more creator focused and then engaging through purpose. I find that's fascinating. And I'm sure we're going to get into that then with the presentation. Do you think right now, Caitlin, would be a good time to transition into that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. I received confirmation that only for me is my background flipped. So you all probably think I'm crazy now.
No, I think we're all good now. So yeah, I'll just go ahead and jump in. So of course, today we're all talking about engaging consumers, and Bina and I are going to be talking specifically about engaging Gen Z, because those are really the consumers that we in our groups are focused on today as the core target for both of our portfolios of brands. And of course, before we start to think about engaging consumers, it really starts with understanding them. So just to ground us all, just a little bit of context of Gen Z. I'm sure everyone's really been very focused on Gen Z lately, so probably not a ton of new news, but it really sets up the context for some of the themes that we're going to be talking about in terms of engaging this audience. So of course, just first demographically, who are they? Really, this generation refers to the generation between about 1997 to 2012, depending on who you ask. They have a global spending power of over 200 billion, and they account for over 40% of consumers worldwide. So this is really a huge demographic, a huge opportunity for brand engagement and brand building. And an important just cultural context that we see, of course, is this is truly a generation without borders. This is a global generation. They have grown during a time of a ton of political and financial turmoil and worldwide social events that have really impacted the way that this generation views the world. Another thing that has really impacted how they view the world is their digital savviness. More than any generation before them, these are true digital natives. They were born on digital platforms, and they really expect that quick access to information. And that all leads to a constant exposure to different viewpoints, opinions, and lifestyles. So really that drives them to consider themselves as more accepting and more open-minded than any other generation before them. We see that about 70% of Gen Zers globally are really involved in social or political causes, and that's higher than millennials before them and the generations before them. So that leads really into what motivates them to engage with brands, what is driving some of their brand decisions. And that directly connects to this point that we see that 9 in 10 of Gen Zers want the brands that they buy to get involved in the causes that better the world. They're really looking for brands that share their values, share in the causes that they care about. And they're really expecting those brands to use their reach and their money to fuel change. They are paying more attention to really, are these brands authentically committed to these causes? Are they using their power to help to better the world? So I'm going to let Bina then share an example from one of our brands here that we have in the portfolio.
Thank you, Caitlin. So just connecting what Caitlin was saying, I think even after pandemic, it's stronger now that the Gen Z and all the younger generation are looking for brands with like real purpose and genuine purpose that connected them in the end. So I brought here 2 cases from Guaraná. Guaraná is a huge soft drink brand in Brazil. Like it's huge, like penetration is more than 90%. And this first case was awarded in Cannes last year, and the second was won a Gold Lion this year in Cannes. So I'm gonna let you watch it, and then I comment the case. But really, in the end, it's really helping like a huge gap that I have in Brazil. That's Brazil, it's a country of soccer. And we know that men players, they have much more than women. So it's all, the 2 cases are a little bit about it. So can go play. Thank you.
Brazil, the country of soccer. Really? For who? Every year, brands invest $1 billion more in men's soccer than in women's. The excuse? It lacks visibility. If that's the problem, then wait a second. Here is your visibility. Guaraná presents She Can. Guaraná Antarctica is a major soda brand in Brazil. We have over 35 million cans running around the country every month. That represents a reach bigger than any YouTube channel or TV show. What if we turned our can into a media outlet so other brands could be displayed on them in exchange for investment in our girls? So we simply did it. We created a campaign inviting other brands to advertise on our cans and transformed them into the hottest media spot in town. In 1 week, 100 brands subscribed and 10 of them paid $100,000 for the spot. Global brands like Burger King, Avon, and Lay's joined our effort, and the money went straight to a girls' academy. Our She Cans reached the market, and girl, it was a hit. And other brands went even further. Puma offered its factories for uniforms. The Bank BMG officially sponsored other clubs, and ESPN broadcasted women's finals for the first time ever. So, can after can, we can build a fair future for women, whether we talk about soccer or about life. Don't you agree?
So this one was from last year, and then I have another one from this year.
Hey, are you aware that the investment made in women's soccer today is the same what men received in the 80s? Remember the men's final in 82? It had a $20 million prize, which is exactly the same value for the women's final in 2019. It's like our girls were stuck in the 80s. Guaraná Antártica is a major soda brand in Brazil, an official sponsor of women's soccer since forever. So we decided to go to the biggest sporting event in the world to draw attention to the matter, asking for approval of the bill that fights for equal prize money for men and women in sports in the country. Minor detail. The Olympics are globally sponsored by our main, richer, almighty competitor. So we asked the National Women's Soccer League players a little favor, and they arrived in Tokyo carrying gadgets from the 80s.
Vamos começar com um post da Formiga. Ela fez desabafo dizendo que tá presa nos 80.
Igniting, with Guaraná, the Stuck in the 80s movement, which quickly was all over press and even became the official theme of the biggest and most prestigious soccer awards in Brazil, hosted by ESPN. But if we wanted to change the law, we had to make a whole country understand what it means to be stuck in the 80s. So we relaunched our classic 80s bottle for real, making the conversation become not only a stunt, but a constant reminder of the girls' reality for our more than 35 million monthly consumers looking for Guaraná on the shelves. Of course, 100% of its sales proceeds went to help correct the prize money gap by directly supporting women's soccer in Brazil. Back to the future. Remember the bill we wanted approved? Well, it passed Congress. It sounds like the 80s will be finally behind us.
So just brought two examples to show how a brand can really work on purpose, like that matters the young generation. And today this year is a year of the World Cup, so Guaraná is also again coming with a huge initiative for women in soccer. Guaraná is a sponsor from official sponsor for the men and women's soccer team here in the Brazilian selection. So more to come on this subject.
Bina, if I may comment on that, real quick, that's fascinating. I think about growing up in Venezuela. Guaraná was my first energy drink, I used to say. So I've been drinking that since 1997 and has been a staple in my life since then. And then seeing how you connect the brand and then connect the brand with other brands with the purpose and everything, I believe that's really incredible to see what you've done with that.
Yeah, that was huge in Brazil. Like we saw like a movement of all the brands joining and really making a difference for the women players. So it was a very nice movement, very nice, well played from the brand side.
Yeah, incredible. All right, sorry, Caitlin, go ahead.
No, it's such a great case. I love that one, both of them, and the evolution of the consistency on that purpose is so great. So then the next theme really is somewhat connected, but a different lens really on the connection to brand and what Gen Z is really looking for and expecting from the brands that they want to engage with. So the underlying factors of it really are that Gen Z is really a group who is educated, aware, and skeptical of brand marketing. They have been exposed to constant marketing and promotion through the channels that they use on a daily basis. Again, more so than any other generation before them. They're constantly bombarded with brand marketing. And at the same time, they've also learned to manage their own brand image. They're so engaged in their own online presence, their own social media. They have been building their own brand for quite a while. So for them, they're really fluent in the language of advertising. Marketing is really second nature to them. They're savvy consumers who really are paying attention to whether or not brands are being authentic and being honest. And they will expose those brands if they feel that they're failing on their responsibility to the consumers. And they have the platforms now to really do that as well. So they're really looking for brands, and they want these brands to communicate with honesty, integrity, and authenticity. And there's a number of different kind of expressions of this. So they're looking and really engaging with brands that use humor and self-awareness or self-deprecation. Even the KFC FCK example from a while back is a great one of just being like, yep, we messed up, we're screwed, and kind of having fun with that and being honest and playful with it. They're also they appreciative of brand to brand narratives, brands behaving like people, acknowledging that there are other brands out there, not pretending that they're the only ones around. And that connects to also brands creating relatable consumer interactions. So kind of the brand to brand narratives and brand to consumer narratives. Domino's is a great example of this. There's so many great fast food brands that do a great job, Wendy's, et cetera. Burger King talking to their consumers, particularly in Twitter, and really entering those conversations and having that personality and playfulness. They're also looking for brands to educate and bring enriching content, really showing what their value propositions are, being forthright with that. And they're also looking for, of course, inclusivity and empathy from brands. That is table stakes now and completely expected from all brands that Gen Z is looking to engage with. And finally, they're looking for shareable content. They are the meme generation. Their social currency is content. So if brands can give them content that is shareable with their friends, that's something that they truly do value. So I'm going to share a case study from Mike's Hard Lemonade and the global campaign that we've used to launch in our new markets that really is focused on this idea of self-awareness, being a brand, acting like a brand, and creating these brand to brand narratives. And this is the way that we were really looking to engage with a new audience as we were a brand new brand launching in these markets.
Oh, hey, welcome to the Mike's in a Beer World case study. Fun fact, in South America, when 18 to 24-year-olds hang out together, everyone brings beer. See? Beer, 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 beer! The truth is, not everyone likes beer. So as we launched Mike's in these new countries, we didn't have to fight beer. We just needed to tag along. And that's what we did with our ads. We took every beer ad on air and we put Mike's in. See? We crashed their ads. We crashed this ad, this ad, this ad, this ad. We crashed this ad too, and we didn't stop there. We even filmed our ads in the middle of their ads, but from a different POV, and show that wherever beer goes, Mike's can go too.
Aquí estoy tomando Mike's en un comercial de poker. Porque no a todos nos gusta la cerveza.
And we ran both commercials back to back. Look.
Tô aqui bebendo Mike's no comercial de Bud. Nem todo mundo bebe cerveja o tempo todo, né?
Talk about saving those production dollars, huh? All we needed was to bring our cameras to their shoot.
Você deve ter me visto bebendo uma Mike's num comercial de Spaten.
And then we shared their social post. Their out of home, their point of sale, their e-commerce. Seriously, how the hell did we do all that?
Everyone was happy to have us join along because it was based on a true insight. So we saw that as an opportunity for Mike's to be able to partner with those big advertisers for greater exposure. It's more than just crashing beer ads. It's really a symbiotic relationship between these brands.
It's crazy because Mike's has helped us to sell a lot of beer too.
It's the kind of campaign that only ABI could pull off.
It's more than a win-win. It's a win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win.
So not only has this been a communication platform for us and done through commercials, but we've extended it as well in how we engage with influencers, how we show up at events, how we're really addressing all consumer touch points that we have as a brand. And the feedback from consumers has been incredible because we're being forthright. We're identifying this is the problem that exists. There are 20% of consumers out there who are looking for an alternative to beer, and there aren't really many options for them in these occasions where beer is the go-to choice. And the consumers, the tribe that we're talking to, have really shown an appreciation for just being upfront and truthful about that reality and showing how Mike's can address that need. So switching gears a little bit, talking about connections platforms and where and through what kind of platforms we can connect with this generation to drive engagement. Of course, we look at their top interests, and they have a lot of the same ones as millennials: music, sports, travel, but where they really over-index and break apart a bit is in the space of gaming. So 47% of Gen Z have an interest in gaming, and that is at 132 index versus millennials, which are at 38%. So that, of course, is more of an emerging platform and really a passion point of this audience. And a big reason for that is it's connected to their value of authenticity and self-identity, and it's a way for them to express their self-identity, and at times a way to escape reality, again, because they are living in such tumultuous times and dealing with a lot. So some of the things we see in this space are that 83% of Gen Z are interested in participating in the metaverse. 61% have visited an online space like Fortnite, Roblox, Decentraland, etc. in the past month. So this is really a growing space for them. And Bina has another case study to share for us related to this space.
So I brought this case study. It's from another brand. It's from Pony Malta. I don't know if you know, Steven, Pony Malta?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. So Pony Malta is a malted, non-alcoholic malted beverage from Colombia. It's a nutritional beverage, mainly focused in Gen Z or like working class also. It's very nutritional. And I brought this case, it's about gaming, but it's also about purpose. And gaming is a huge passion point, of course, for the brand because of the, as Caitlin was mentioned, as gaming as one of the main passion points for the Gen Z. So it's a win-win for both sides. So let's see this case and then I can comment after.
In 2016, FIFA included female professional football players in its video game.
I'm in the game. Yo me spela. Estamos en el juego. We're in the game. We're in the game. We're in the game. We're in the game.
Pero yo no estoy en el juego. Ni yo, ni yo, ni yo.
FIFA Clubs Pro, the way to create an avatar with your own image, form a club and make a career as a football player, only allows you to create male avatars, not female ones. Isn't this crazy? So we decided to hack the game. Pony Malta, the beverage that inspires teenagers to be as good as they can be, presents She Football Club, an initiative that allowed all women to be represented in FIFA 21, the most popular video game in the world. We invited the best female gamers in the country to create their own avatar from their male player impersonation tools, to make them part of the She Football Club.
Estoy muy orgullosa del desempeño de nuestro partido.
A club that allowed them to make a career as women and face other men's clubs. Thousands of women from around the world and even professional football players joined the movement.
Pony Malta lidera una iniciativa para pedirle a la FIFA que el video de juego de fútbol más popular del mundo incluya a las mujeres en su modo carrera.
12 million impressions. Record of views and tweets for the brand. 250,000 users during the streaming. But that was not all. At change.org, we created a petition asking EA Sports to include women in FIFA Clubs Pro mode. We wore our club's jersey with all the signatures collected at the EA Sports headquarters. And good news arrived from FIFA 2022. FIFA 22 did it. They included the option in FIFA Clubs Pro to create a female avatar and make a career with it. And people praise our initiative. Once again, now all women can be represented on their video game. She Football Club. We hacked a video game to represent all women.
I think this case is very nice, and this team, CFC, that is a women players team, it still exists and it's going really well. So we now have plans to start putting them to compete in different champions besides Colombia, so going global and etc. So it's a huge initiative and flag that the brand is raising on gaming and also helping women in gaming. That's it.
Yeah, Bina, to comment on that, yes. I mean, I remember growing up Sunday afternoons drinking Malta with pirulí, and definitely an incredible experience. And then seeing that again, it reminded me of when we were connecting, how you both mentioned it's understanding where they participate, where is this happening. And I really love here, this really highlights how you know how to participate and to go in there and create that, not just a one-touch engagement, but then that's creating a movement and something that people are really lifted and inspired by.
Yes,
incredible job again.
For sure. Like a cultural movement that really connects organically with the generation, that engage with them in a natural way. So that's the main goal, our main goal as marketeers in ABI.
It's amazing. So the next place, of course, to go is looking at their behaviors within social media, and really the reasons for using social media for this generation really boiled down to entertainment and staying on top of topics and trends. And of course, the platforms that we see really resonating with this generation, Instagram is still a big one, and really their most used daily platform. But platforms like TikTok and Reddit, of course, are rapidly growing in popularity. And here, Bina has brought a great case on how Guarana, again, that brand from Brazil, is really leveraging content, as we've mentioned a number of times, to engage this audience.
Yeah, so this case will tell a little bit, so how can we transform Guarana in a publisher mindset brand? Bringing these creators mindset from the scratch and from the nature for the brand. So I'm going to start showing you also a case, and then I'm going to explain a little bit how we did it.
And then it happened. One day I woke up and realized, God, I'm old. When I was born 100 years ago, everyone liked me. Talking to young people was easy. I was cool. I was fun. I was pop. When I realized new brands appeared and competition was already on my tail. To make matters worse, their main brand is loaded. And young people, they have changed. Hey, easy. This is not a sad story. This is the story of how we came up with a fucking good strategy to turn this shit around. What we did? First, we set our positioning through the lens of Coisa Nosa. It was as if we had an inside joke shared with 200 million Brazilians. Then we adapted our creative team. Since young people no longer want to watch TV commercials, we learned how to make the digital content they wanted. Welcome to the era of Guarana creators. That's how the Coisa Nosa channel was born. A YouTube phenomenon achieved by giving creative freedom for our squad to create for the brand. Then we took over Twitter with organic content, trending memes, and challenging the competitors in real time. Finally, our Lord of Creativity trilogy hit TikTok with a performance that, well, between you and me, became reference in Brazil. We managed to turn consumers into fans. Seems like magic. Only if magic is made of data, strategy, creativity, a little patience, and a whole lot of boldness and humor to reconnect us with young people. See?
The Guaraná is on the table.
Tastes like youth spirit, right?
Ai, papai, que lindo!
So this case tells a little bit of transformation from the brand. So Caitlin, if you can go to the next one, please.
And then it happened.
So the brand turned 100 years last year, and then 2019, we're in the discussion, how can a centennial brand really can continue connecting with the younger generation, so becoming younger? And the next one. So we decided to do a digital revolution with the brand and test, because it is non-alc, so we have less restrictions than beer and then alcohol brands. We could test everything. So really doing a digital revolution on the way you communicate, on the way you use the social channel to communicate with the young generation. So, and then of course, using data to listen to them, to understand what they want and how can we connect better with this audience. And then the next one. So we shifted the mindset from a brand communication to publisher mindset. That means in the end, having a team of creators working with us in different channels, creating content that really connects and are native from that channel and are interesting and in the context, in the culture from the Gen Z, from the consumer. So in the next one. So we shift from creating a campaign broken in assets, from we give a brief to creators and they create their own assets based on this huge concept from the brand. And of course, humor is a huge pillar. So memes and etc. So that's another tool that Kathleen was also mentioned in the beginning. It's another way for us to really connect with the audience. And we also shift a little bit from offline focus to digital focus, of course, because of the Gen Z is really a digital native generation. And then in the next one, I think you can go through because I think I'm really worried about the time. So let's jump this one. And then here is a little bit of how we did it. The slides a little bit break, but this is a recipe of the cake. So giving freedom for creators. If they have a clear brief, they can create under that brief. Being native creative, so understanding the role of the channel and create content native for that channel specifically. And then fast culture posts, using data to help us mainly. So understanding we have a routine that every day we check the main trends on social, what people are talking, what is coming. So to understand, to see how can I create, what can create new for Guaraná in different channels and etc. And of course, the ways of working. So quick test and learn culture, test creators, test content and etc. And WOW can then run. So you see that we did a transformation in all the social channels from the brand, but we started with one channel. And then when we saw it was working, we moved to another one. So we didn't do everything at the same time. We're trying to organize and improve, and also have clear KPI. Sorry, and then the next one. So this is a little bit of what we did. We had consistency and patience. So the slides a little bit break also for me, but we started with YouTube, and then Twitter, and then TikTok, and now we are reviewing all the Instagram and Facebook strategy too. And then the next one, to have clear KPIs, having the right metrics, having the right brief, giving freedom to the creator, and then like to have a clear North Star. I think it's the best like recipe. And just to finish, I can go in the next one. One thing that is very nice, like our YouTube channel today is the #1 most engaged influential brand channel in Brazil, and the most engaged and influential beverage brand channel in the world. So we have around 150K USD AdSense per year that we reinvest in the channel. Our TikTok channel is the #2 brand beverage segment globally, and our Twitter channel is also huge comparing to NABev here in Brazil. And what is also very nice, that when we measure in the next one, the brand power from consumers that follow our channels that don't follow, we have a higher brand power with the ones that also follow those channels. So it proves in the end that nice content really helps building brands. So finished this topic. Thank you.
Amazing. I think, yeah, since we're coming up on time, I'll skip this example. We can wrap up and take any Q&As. So just to summarize some of the key themes that we've discussed. So ways to engage with this audience and things to think about. Number one, engaging through purpose. Brands are really expected to use their power for good. This group of people are really looking and expecting that, looking for brands that share their values and that do use their power to make the world a better place. And then number two, engaging with honesty, integrity, authenticity, and self-awareness. It's okay to be real, to behave like a brand, to break the fourth wall a bit, not trying to be perfect all the time. I think co-creation is such a great opportunity for this as well, that drives that engagement and really gives the consumer a feeling of ownership and belonging with the brands as well. And then finally, engaging where they are, understand their passion points, understand the media platforms. We didn't talk as much about purchase behaviors, but that's as well a big theme with this audience. As D2C becomes much more relevant, they're much more comfortable making purchases through digital platforms. And that's another great way, as was highlighted in the last Fireside chat, of using purchasing moments to build brands and build engagement as well. So yeah, those are the key themes, and we can discuss a little bit more and take any questions.
Yes, well, Caitlin and Bina, we actually do have two wonderful questions coming in from Trevor. I apologize, Stasik, if I say that wrong yet. Caitlin, the first one is for you. So Trevor says, you mentioned Gen Z and 40% are engaged with gaming. How are you placing your alcoholic brands into the games like Roblox when those games have underage audiences? Is there a way to segment who sees what within the game?
Yeah, so we're very careful about the platforms in this space, in gaming, in the metaverse, that we do enter into with our alcoholic brands. And that's why actually in the non-alc space, we have a lot more examples there and are doing more there, because it is still very restrictive. And that's been the case. It's still the case with platforms like TikTok. Any new emerging digital channels tend to not have the segmenting capabilities that we need, or the right balance and mix of the over legal drinking age consumer population that we require for our brands to go into those spaces. But there are gaming platforms and ways that we are able to enter the space. So for Mike's, for example, we're really looking at getting into that space by engaging more through Twitch, partnering with the influencers that have the legal drinking age audience, and doing more streams that are targeted, rather than entering into the platforms where there is an underage drinking audience, and we're not able to segment that. We just simply won't go into those spaces until we can segment those.
Amazing. And Bina, for you, it says, for the FIFA game, are you seeing people connect with the brand with the women's avatar in the game? I think it's great what you're doing, but are you seeing mindshare increase from that?
Yeah, so thank you for the question. And the answer, yes. And then Pony Malta, sorry, is really helping the CFC, the women team. So when they are not playing just FIFA, but they also play other games, so Free Fire and etc. But when Gen Z watch the game, so they usually watch the streaming of the games. So people playing and somebody commenting on the team playing also together. So when on the team's t-shirts, we have Pony Malta's brands and also other brands, because they're the team is so huge now that other brands also join the movements. So when they see the streamer of the game, they see the brands, they see everything around the players.
Incredible. Well, thank you both. Obrigado, Bina and Caitlin.
Obrigado.
Incredible work to you both, your teams, your partners. And for me, I am thrilled and excited to continue to engage with the brands, to consume the brands, to share them, and seeing what you all are baking up next. So wonderful job, and thank you.
Thank you.